Today on Cassava Matters, we take a trip to Benue State in the north-central region of Nigeria. Benue, predominantly inhabited by the Tiv, Idoma and Igede people, is considered the richest agricultural region in Nigeria, hence its popular appellation as the food basket of the nation. Although well known for growing a wide variety of crops, the state is a major producer of cassava. The IITA, in conjunction with the Federal University of Agriculture, Makurdi, is thus implementing in the state projects like the Cassava Weed Management Project, the African Cassava Agronomy Initiative, and the Building an Economically Sustainable and Integrated Cassava Seed System basics. There are many farmers in Benue who have adopted the 6 steps to cassava weed management and best planting practices and are doing well with the toolkit. On today's episode, we shall focus on a group of women farmers practically doing wonders with the 6 steps in Gboko local government area of Benue State. Five years ago, these women came together and formed the Divine Open Doors Women Multi-Cooperative for the purpose of cassava roots and stems production. Today, they have successfully cultivated cassava on 42 hectares of land, and the leader of the group, Mrs Ngufan Blessing Chichi, a farmer and cassava seed entrepreneur trained under the IITA Basics project, attributes the success to the adoption and use of the 6 steps to cassava weed management.
I'm a farmer, a cassava seed entrepreneur. I became a seed entrepreneur with Basic about 5 years ago. And they told us we can form some farmers groups. And so I came back and started the farmers group. And these are the farmers group: Divine Open Doors Women Cooperative, Gboko. Presently, we live in about 5 other local governments. We have a group in Buluku local government, and we have another group in Jatoka, Kwanshisha, and Naka. We have 50-50-50 in each group. That's about 250 in 5 groups. We intend to process the roots. We are not willing to sell the roots out low like that. We intend to process the root. That's the reason why we are looking forward to see if we can get some processing machines that will help us to process. Because we are not having only this farm. We have other farms on other locations too. So that will be able to help process, and we will not lack the roots. We had about 55 hectares, but presently we were only able to cultivate about 42 hectares. Actually, the weed control came in. It was even on the net now. We saw it even on our phones. So we were following it. If only you are able to follow these 6 steps, you have no problem with cassava. Because once the 6 steps are followed, you will not suffer weeding and, paying people to weed for you, coming to give them food at the farm. That is the farm feeding bar. Paying the cost of transportation coming and going. You will not see that. Because in a day, even if you have about 3 people, they will be able to spray 1 hectare. Whereas if you employ people to come and weed, you will have to spend not less than 15,000 naira on feeding. Because people will be coming to weed and they won't be able to finish weeding in 1 week. So it's very much better to follow the 6 steps. Because you will save a lot of money and then you will save your time.
On why the production of improved varieties of cassava stems is an integral part of their business, Mrs. Chichi explains that the troubles and cost of transporting cassava stems of improved varieties from IITA Ibadan or NRCRI Umidike prompted her and her colleagues to find a solution. She also talks about the cassava varieties on the farm.
Supposing we want to get some stems, we will have always to move to Ibadan. That's IITA to get some stems to come and plant, or sometimes Umudike to get the stems to come and plant. But if we have it, I felt if we have it in Benue State, people will come around us to come and buy. The transportation from Ibadan to here is so very high. Anytime we want to ship it from there to Benue State, it's about 400,000 naira per truck. So that's too expensive. But if we have it in Gboko, other states that are close by will come to buy with us, rather than moving from here down to Ibadan to buy. That was the reason why we had to establish this farm. This farm is a demo plot for us. We want a situation where we will utilize this one to plant on some other areas. We have 419 0581 0505 and 1638. That's the one you see the other side. Yeah. That yellow roots. The improved variety produces very much better than the local variety. The local variety does not produce so much. You can see the leaves, plenty leaves, but inside the ground, you will not see anything to write home about. The thing is, here in Benue State, what we intend using most is the roots. But the local variety does not give you so much roots. The improved variety, no matter how small you see, by the time you remove it, you discover that truly this is 419. It has deceived you on the outside, but the inside is very big and large. They are willing to buy because they have seen the yield of this very improved seed is different from the usual akpu we used to have. If you look at it, you discover that it's quite different from what we have here. What we have is here looking so greenish and beautiful, you cannot even see any form of disease on it, you know. But if you look at that one, you can see that it has mosaic and some other things on it. Here it is not like that. And if you look at the ground is already cracking. So they now feel it is so good. And by the time you start removing, you discover that the roots are as big. It's not the same as that one. You cannot compare. With the knowledge of the 6 steps, you would have seen, that's the reason why I have so many groups. I teach them what to do, and they are following it. That is the reason why you've seen what you've seen today. I intend to enlarge it. In fact, the 14 local government in Benue State this coming year, we will go on it. I want to say a very big thank you to IITA. They actually done a lot. We are grateful. Thank you very kindly.
Let us watch the 6 steps video to catch further insights into the steps Mrs. Chichi and her group followed to create this beautiful success of 42 hectares of cassava without stress.
Do you want to grow cassava and get higher yield? Here are 6 steps to help you achieve your dream. 1. Select a suitable site that is not on a slope, waterlogged, stony or very shallow. 2. If the vegetation is an older fallow with trees, shrubs and broad leaves and too tall to go over with a sprayer, slash the vegetation and plow. If the vegetation is a grass fallow with perennial weeds such as spear grass, guinea grass, siam weed, sensitive plant or giant potato, and too tall to go over with a sprayer, slash the vegetation and wait for 2 weeks to allow the growth. 3. Apply glyphosate, for example, Roundup Turbo, Touchdown Forte, at label rate to deal with the grass regrowing from the slashed grass fallow. Glyphosate should also be applied on a field if it has little vegetation, less than 1 meter tall, with perennial weeds. Thereafter, wait for 14 days to allow total kill by glyphosate. 4. Tillage operations are costly but result in higher cassava yields and productive fields. Plowing generally increases youth yield by at least 5 tons per hectare. Only invest in plowing if the revenue expected from 5 tons of cassava exceeds the cost of plowing 1 hectare of land. Ridging increases root yield by at least 4 tons per hectare. Ridge your field if the revenue from 4 tons of cassava exceeds the cost of ridging 1 hectare of land. Ridging is also recommended if your soil is high in clay content, or if you intend to harvest in the dry season, or if weeds are difficult to control. 5. Plant cassava only when the soil is moist at 1 meter between rows and 0.8 meters within rows. Thereafter, apply pre-emergence herbicide such as Prime Extra Gold at 4 liters per hectare or Lagon at 1.25 liters per hectare within 24 hours after planting. Do not apply pre-emergence herbicide on dry soil. Replace cuttings that fail to sprout after 15 to 21 days. 6. When weeds cover 30% of your field and they are at 4 to 6 leaf stage, apply a post-emergence weed control, for example, post-emergence herbicides, mechanical or manual weeding. In grass-dominated fields or in portions of a field that are grass-dominated, apply Fossilate Forte at 3 liters per hectare under cassava canopy. For grass and or broadleaf infested fields, glufosinate ammonium, for example, Lifeline, Basta, Fascinate may be applied at label rate. Glyphosate like Roundup Turbo, Touchdown Forte can also be carefully applied at label rate. But it is important to use a shield on the sprayer nozzle to avoid glyphosate touching green parts of cassava, which will result in cassava damage. If cassava is less than 8 weeks old and the field is infested with grass and broadleaf weeds, use manual weeding. Do not apply the same herbicides year in year out because this may promote the development of resistant weeds.
Join us next time on Cassava Matters as we talk more about cassava seeds of improved varieties and how to achieve success as a farmer or seed entrepreneur using the 6 steps to cassava weed management and best planting practices toolkit. To watch missed episodes and other useful cassava weed management videos, go to our YouTube channel, Cassava Matters, and our social media handles on Facebook and Twitter. For questions, comments, and inquiries, please use the following contact details on your screen. We'll be glad to hear from you.